There are several different legends that they go back to, but I have a great uncle whose name in Russian translated to wolf bear.
Okay.
And I think that's what they decided on. But I think my mom, just her favorite animal is timber wolves.
Okay.
And so when my father insisted that my first name was Timothy, she said that my middle name would be Wolf.
That's awesome.
It's pretty recent that I've gone by Wolf as my preferred nomenclature. But like our new president's name is Tim Fulton.
Okay.
And there can't be two Tims sitting in a meeting.
True.
So it's like he's Tim, I'm Wolf, and it makes it easy. But I enjoy it. I mean, I like the pseudo brand that it's created.
That's awesome. Okay. There is a Starr Avenue off High Street in the Short North, not too far from here. Is it named after you or any of your ancestors?
No.
Okay. All right.
But
cool.
It's awesome. Sure. It all just developed out of conversations. I spent a lot of time as a very blue-collar entrepreneur working with Christmas light companies, asphalt companies, things along those lines, and I saw a need to help out all of these of my peers that were getting out of college and weren't able to find jobs, and help them get their feet off the ground. So I started pairing them up, working with them, helping them find solutions. So for example, if you had 6 different entrepreneurs who needed to go see an accountant for their taxes, they could each individually pay for an hour of service from a tax attorney, or they could split that up between a day rate. So we would book the day rate, and then they would split the hours together, and they'd end up paying a lot less, and so just the economies of scale. Then we started playing matchmaker between them, and eventually we came up with the community card, which helped connect all of the consumers with that program. My least favorite part of my job is when I have to go make a sale and get a signature and pick up a check.
Okay.
It's all about relationships, because when you provide the value and you have the conversation, people will throw opportunities your way. So, like most of the time when I sit down with a business owner, I'm sitting down with the business owner, even if it's for 20 minutes. I view it as, here I am consulting with that person. And if I do a good job at the end of the day and I make the connections, one, it's going to, every time you make a connection between 2 business people, you're helping out the person you're talking to and another.
Okay.
And you do enough of those and you're helping out a lot of people every day. Okay. And then they're going to join. They're going to sign up. They'll buy your magazine ad. They'll perform at your show. They'll come set up a booth. They'll do whatever you want. I mean, the biggest challenge that we had was the chicken and the egg. So we have 3 rules for a business to join the SPP. They have to be local and independent.
Okay.
We have to be able to provide them a value.
Okay.
And they have to be awesome. So it works out quite well, but like when we first started up, every printing company in town wanted to sign up for us because they wanted our leads.
Okay.
We can't provide them all a value.
Right.
If we have a network of 50 businesses and 8 or 10 of them are printing companies.
Right.
So we had the same problem when we started the community card, which was no one wanted to sign up for a card which was free because we didn't have enough deals or discounts in it. And then also the businesses didn't want to sign up because we didn't have enough people with the cards.
Right.
So it was just a huge chicken and the egg. We're now at about 70, 80,000 card holders and over 500 businesses. So it's a lot easier at this point. I don't know if I ever decided to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I think I just, I've always been one.
Okay.
And it gave me the opportunity to actually become a business owner after training under some really great people. I mean, I could just go on for hours. I'm inspired because every day I get to meet with these like superpower players.
Right.
And for me, it's just like a conversation.
Right. But
I realize that that's not something which is available to most people. I'm very grateful for it.
Okay.
If I could change one thing about it, I learned Spanish, we would be able to reach the giant Hispanic community here in Central Ohio. Because there's a need and there's a want and there's a desire, but communication barrier is huge.
Okay, great.
In these group exhibitions, what had become of my beard was that if anyone was inquiring about my work when I wasn't around, the other members or people that knew me would just be like, "Oh, just go find the guy with the beard." And it actually became a nice little visual trademark for me. So I decided to really take advantage of that and just kept growing it. And I just went into a niche that I had already experienced, which was a lot of previous clay work. So I got my degree in ceramics from Edinburgh University, but I found myself sculpting more than sitting on a potter's wheel. It wasn't fulfilling to me. And so I sculpted out of clay for 4 years, and then when I moved on to graduate school, I just switched over to sculpture instead of ceramic. And then from there, that just built different skill sets. And as I get older, I just try to keep learning more different mediums and things like that to build up my arsenal of skill sets, basically.
Okay.
I would say my earthworks pieces have had the strongest response from the public, but they're also the largest things I've done. I have large monumental pieces out in the courtyard here on loan at the Cultural Arts Center. And those have been out there since 2010. As far as favorite individual pieces, the Reef exhibition that I did in 2010 here at the Cultural Arts Center, that was one major installation of 257 pieces that fit together to create one large atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
And then were individually pieced off. That as a whole, I would say, had the largest bang or impact to my career, so that would be it.
Okay.
And then right now, one of the problems that I've come across in strategizing making money is with doing these installations is I've got a hoard of pieces. The pieces that are in front of me are actually going to be for sale no sooner than 2014.
Okay.
More than likely the beginning of 2015, because I'm putting together another one of these large modular installations. So I have to suck it up and not sell pieces for an extended amount of time in order to pull off the whole creation of what I'm trying to do. Usually no less than $100 for the smallest thing that I do, and then it goes all the way up to $20,000 to $50,000. So it really, I don't do a lot of those pieces, but I try to have a range for everybody as far as price demographic or anything like that. The $20,000 to $50,000 range, they're not really huge. They're time consuming.
Okay.
My larger stone pieces or whatnot, I don't really use pneumatic tools or air hammers or anything like that. So if I'm going to do a larger stone, it could take me hundreds of hours, and at a $35 an hour wage, that adds up over time.
Gotcha.
So needless to say, I still own several of those pieces.
Okay. All right.
But they are available for sale. But right now I'm just trying to crank out as much work as I possibly can.
Okay.
No, actually that's always the goal. Make work, make work, make work.
Great.
Put my 60 hours in a week.
You have fine arts mixed with kinetic sculptures and interactive art. You have we did some consulting work for kind of third world farming equipment that didn't require electricity or expensive utensils. So there's people that are building a strong local community, and there's people who are trying to tackle some real world problems. First question is, what are we?
Yeah.
Right? And then,
Yeah, sure.
Then we can explain how we got here.
Okay.
But we're a community workshop space. So what we do is we provide access to conventional to high-tech tools, and we provide training on those tools. So artists, students, hobbyists, to small businesses, inventors, prototypers can bring those ideas to a physical object through software, through wood shop, metal shop, 3D printing, laser cutting, and more.
Okay.
I mean, we have about 110, 120 members. About a third of those are small businesses themselves. And the businesses are really diverse. Say we have a retired nuclear physicist who is the head of like DuPont's R&D, down to very self-educated, just got a high school diploma, but is doing some really cool design work. It's kind of started out in a garage space with a few friends that pooled tool resources, and it's grown up progressively into now kind of a grown-up business. So we have a diverse community of talents. We have people who are digital artists, we have people who are electronics gurus, we have people who are woodworking craftsmen, and we have people who are just good at running businesses, so that there's a cross-pollination among both projects, but also as the foundry as a whole. It's a relatively new business model. So, for example, last year, Popular Science listed us as among one of 12 others in the country. So it's not like you have a 10, 20, 50-year best practices business model. So we're kind of a social entrepreneurship. We're a for-profit LLC, and we have multiple revenue streams, but we have a very non-profit-like mission that is developing local small businesses, developing local creative types. And so just the youthfulness of the business model, and certainly while Columbus is very pro small business, it's taken a little while to get the word out about what it is that we're actually doing, and to get people are excited to be making stuff again. So we used to be manufacturing giants. We used to, everything was made here, and that's kind of dissipated. There's no longer, say, wood shop in school, or that's replaced by computer labs, and so there's kind of this disconnect between people wanting to make stuff with their hands again and not knowing how to anymore. So places like these are kind of popping up all over the country, and they're known as hacker spaces or maker spaces, and so it's kind of blending science and technology and engineering, electronics, programming with kind of the conventional creativity that you get from more artistic disciplines. Personally, I would say it is the Columbus Idea Foundry. If you had stopped by a year or so ago, this was a completely different place. And so just from blood, sweat, and tears and sweat equity, we remodeled the gallery, we've made a lot of structural improvements, but specifically as a business model, we've really kind of crested that. All right, we're no longer just playing around and a bunch of people just kind of hanging out and drinking beer and making cool stuff, to we are a sustainable and now finally profitable business model, which is going to allow for long-term growth and to be able to have more people get on board with this makerspace concept to prove that it's kind of a revolutionary, we call it democratization of design. So you no longer have to have the 20-year engineering background to make something cool, that we've demonstrated that you can just take people, talented, bright people, and do incredible things.